and gentlemen, it's quite difficult, to keep a straight face when you're reporting this story. The story of the toilet tax, the story then of the samosa. But, we have to talk about this because this is a reality. This is no fake news. This is no farzi khabar. This is happening in real life in one of the Congress-ruled states. Now on your screens is the poor samosa. The poor samosa that has been called anti-government, anti-state, Sukhu ji ka samosa. It's become famous. But jokes apart, remember all of us what we've read and been taught in schools? They say sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. So even if a few samosas meant for the chief minister, even if I believe that those were samosas meant for the chief minister, ordered from a 5-star hotel, the agencies paid 420 rupees for just 3 samosas. 420 rupees for 3 samosas. Even if that is the kind of money that was spent, and even if those samosas are eaten by anyone else but the chief minister, is it such a big problem? Is it such a big issue that we have to spend so much time talking about? This is something that, we've been debating in our newsrooms ever since we've seen this story hitting. But then when we learn that you have a proper CID investigation, believe it and read my lips, CID. The CID, ladies and gentlemen, today is investigating this case of these missing samosas meant for this chief minister but do not reach the chief minister. To kisne kha liye? Kisne kha liye Sukhu ke samosa is what people are asking. Now Rahul Gandhi, and I have to talk about Rahul Gandhi because Rahul Gandhi is quiet. There is a toilet tax that the state of Himachal wants to talk about, but Rahul remains quiet. There is a CID investigation into samosa crisis, but Rahul Gandhi is quiet. But Rahul Gandhi, if you remember, had spoken about wealth should be properly distributed. So even if some few samosas go into some poor subordinate staff, what is the big deal? What is the big deal, Mr. Chief Minister? And for you to say कि समोसे की खबर आप बना रहे हैं, the real issue is misbehavior is worse. This is worse. I want to bring up the top 5 questions at 5 because these are questions. Questions that expose what is the biggest problem today with the Congress party. Samosa or the state? Think of this. Samosa zaruri hai ya state zaruri hai? What is the priority of the Chief Minister Sukhu? That is a question that have to be asked. The question that everyone today is asking about, ki what is he more worried about? What is the big deal? Like I said, even if a few samosas that are meant for the Chief Minister go missing. भाई बिल्कुल पैसे नहीं है क्या? अगर पैसे बिल्कुल नहीं है तो बताइए ना, क्राउड फंडिंग करिए. But what is this joke? Have they reduced the state of Himachal to a mere joke? The third question that you see up on your screens, the Congress, remember the same Congress that talks about jitni abadi utna haq, that talks about कि सिर्फ अमीर अमीर होते जा रहे हैं, गरीब और गरीब होते जा रहे हैं, थोड़ा इनको पैसा दीजिए, let's have redistribution of wealth. The same Congress could not even stomach, quote unquote, redistribution of the samosa meant for the chief minister to the subordinate staff. They could not. Is this the reality of the Congress? Does the chief minister Sukhu have a monopoly? I'm using this word because the Congress, remember, has been speaking and writing about this. Rahul Gandhi of late had written, a full article in the edit page of newspapers where he's, speaking about the business appetite of the BJP versus the Congress. So does the chief minister in the state have a monopoly over samosas that are bought with taxpayers' money? You and I have paid for those samosas. 420 रुपए के 3 समोसे क्योंकि चीफ मिनिस्टर को खाने हैं, but we have paid for it. There is a CID probe, remember, that has been ordered after these samosas go missing. What is worse? It is worse, but we still manage to smile perhaps and laugh at ourselves that the agency, that is the CID, has called this action as quote unquote anti-government action. So they want to find out who's behind this anti-government action. So is the Congress even serious? Are you serious? You would recall Robert Vadra famously has said, and this is when Times Now was questioning him over a land deal, and we put our boom mic to him. Robert Vadra had said, "Are you serious?" So is the Congress party, is the chief minister even serious about what's going on in Himachal? It's a cracker of a story, has zabardast flavors. You know, this is what journalism today has been reduced to, is what many people would say. But this, remember, is not about journalism. This exposes the hypocrisy of the Congress party. Also, ladies and gentlemen, let's quickly say good evening to our panel of guests joining us. We have Chetan Braktaji, who represents the BJP on the show. We also have Priya Rajgopal, who's a managing partner of the Multiversal Advisory. Priya, it's a pleasure to have you also on the broadcast. Along with IP Singh Saab, the Samajwadi Party's national spokesperson, and Khalikur Rahman is a political analyst. He leans towards the Congress. And Khalikur Rahmanji, I really must thank you, from the bottom of our hearts. Because my guest team tells me that they tried reaching out to multiple Congress spokespersons. Everyone said, no, thank you. इस विषय पे नहीं बात करेंगे. We don't want to talk about this. But आप आए तो है. So I'm glad that at least you are there. Singh Saab, both of you are there sitting with a straight face. Khalikur Rahmanji, what's going on? Samosas, few missing samosas caused so much of a flutter that the CID is investigating, sir?
First of all, I would like to tell you that you have to correct your information. And what I have come to know, that there is no such investigation which was ordered.
Okay.
That's point number 2. And even the CID department also has categorically denied this. So that's point number 2. And now coming to samosas, I feel probably if this debate was happening in your studio, then all of us, the 4 of us, probably would have had the opportunity of having samosa.
Are you saying कि सुखू जी के समोसे टाइम्स नाउ के स्टूडियो में आ गए? सर, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. We are not any anti-government, No one has got those samosas here.
No, so I mean, I think this is nothing but the politics of the diversion from the real issues. So BJP, in fact, does not have any issues to talk about. So whatever issue they find, they just, simply pick it up. And samosa, I think, is something which I'm sure all of our viewers would enjoy today, because this is the time. 5 p.m. is the perfect time for the samosa biscuit.
For chai and samosa, yes. But samosa to aaye nahi hai. Samosas have gone missing.
Exactly. That is the question, actually. That's what you are asking. But I think it is not. See, the CID people and even the government, the CM's office also, Mr. Chauhan's statement I was reading, he said that we have never raised any such issue because, and what I understand that the CID people, after the CM's departure from the function, they were just, I think, talking among themselves, there was few boxes of samosa, I think, where are they? I mean, this was what was stated by the CID. So I think there's nothing beyond this. So I think let's try to keep this where it is, actually, rather than trying to blowing out of proportion.
No, I don't know why, media becomes the favorite punching bag. In fact, I want to see if we can play out the CID DG reaction, because he said this, and Khalikur Rahmanji, you must listen into this. He said, बाकी तो investigation करेंगे, लेकिन इस बात की जांच करेंगे कि खबर मीडिया तक कैसे पहुंची. So that is your problem. How did the media get a whiff of these missing samosas, I mean, it's a fascinating, bizarre story. I did not know whether I should be debating this, but I'm like, why not? And like you said, 5 o'clock, best time for tea and samosas. But listen into what he says about the investigation and about how the leak happened. That the government is more concerned about.
ये देखिए, हमने कोई नोटिस किसी को नहीं दिया, ना किसी की एक्सप्लेनेशन कॉल करी है, ना किसी के खिलाफ कोई कार्रवाई कर रहे हैं. बस हमने कहा कि पता करें कि हुआ क्या. और बात बढ़ के इस लेवल तक आ गई है. वो बिल्कुल ही इंटरनल मैटर है. क्या कार्रवाई होगी और कैसे मीडिया में आई, वो हम इंटरनली उसको डील करेंगे. तो मेरा बस यही रिक्वेस्ट है सभी से कि ये CID का मैटर है, गवर्नमेंट से इसका लेना देना कुछ भी नहीं है और इसको तूल ना दिया जाए, इसको यहीं समाप्त किया जाए.
So Khalikur Rahmanji, you must have heard. He said ये तो internal matter है. He does not say samosas did not go missing. He says इस बात की जांच की जाएगी कि मीडिया में ये खबर लीक कैसे हो गई. I mean,
See,
there is
actually,
egg, sir, on the face of the Congress. And
no,
jokes apart, jokes apart, and because you're on the show, I want to use this also as a constructive opportunity to find out that what is the problem in the state of Himachal with the Congress. Toilet tax, people not getting their money. Then, the entire Sanjoli Mosque issue. There is a split in the Congress's own camp there. The Congress has dissolved its, unit in Himachal. How is Rahul Gandhi quiet? I mean, is Rahul not bothered about what's going on? And like Robert Vadra said, is he not serious?
See, let me come back to your samosa jibe, actually, because what the CBI officer said, I mean, the CID officer said.
Yes, sir.
I've listened to it. So, see, it is not about samosas, what he was raising. But as you know, these agencies handle very sensitive cases, information, and anything which is leaked out of their office, they are concerned about it. It
Even
is not
samosas
about the
are
samosa
leaked,
issue.
sir. Samosa छोड़ दीजिए सर. क्या कर रहे हैं सर? कांग्रेस को मतलब किसी और बात पे बात ही नहीं करनी. समोसे पे बात आ गई. सिंह साहब. Okay, I want to get in Singh साहब. Okay, IP Singh साहब. समोसा खाया है सर? आपकी प्लेट में समोसा आया है या आपका समोसा भी कोई चुरा ले गया है?
देखिए, मुख्यमंत्री श्री सुक्खू जी ने पूरी तरह से इसको नकार दिया है. ये इस तरह की अनर्गल बातें हो रही हैं. आज बात होनी चाहिए. आज बरसी है नोटबंदी की. क्या देश से आतंकवाद खत्म हो गया? क्या देश से नक्सलवाद खत्म हो गया?
अरे सर, समोसे को तो ढूंढ नहीं पा रहे. आप कहाँ पहुंच गए हैं सर? रुकिए प्लीज. नहीं सिंह साहब
मुझे भी तो
सिंह साहब, या तो आप ये एक्सेप्ट करिए कि ये इतनी नहीं सिंह साहब, या तो आप ये बोलिए कि ये इतनी एम्बैरेसिंग स्टोरी है और कांग्रेस के इस पूरे इशू पर हम बात नहीं कर सकते. आप स्टैंड तो लीजिए ना. कोई जबरदस्ती नहीं है कि एसपी को हर बार कांग्रेस की हाँ में हाँ मिलानी है सर. आप भी अपनी इंडिविजुअल पार्टी है. अखिलेश यादव भी इक्वली पावरफुल लीडर है. आप समाजवादी पार्टी अपनी आवाज रख सकती है सर. ये डेमोक्रेसी है.
आपने सुना होगा, मैंने कहा कि इस बात को मुख्यमंत्री ने नकार दिया है. ये झूठी और मनगढ़ंत बातें हैं. मुझे अपनी बात
फेक न्यूज नहीं है सर. फेक न्यूज मत बोलिए.
2 मिनट बिल्कुल फेक न्यूज है. मुझे 2 मिनट अपनी बात तो कह लेने दीजिए. आज बरसी है नोटबंदी की, हम उस पर चर्चा करेंगे. देश का जो कर्ज है वो 56,000 करोड़ से बढ़कर 2,20,000 करोड़ हो गया. अर्थव्यवस्था को लेकर पूरे देश में हाहाकार मचा हुआ है. वित्त मंत्री बोलने को तैयार नहीं है. रुपया नीचे लौट रहा है. 100 टच करने जा रहा है. प्रधानमंत्री का वो बयान याद है 2014 का कि रुपया जब पतला होता है, फिर क्या कारण है कि बांग्लादेश का रुपया नहीं गिर रहा है?
नहीं तो सिंह साहब देखिए, बढ़िया बात आपने रखी है सर. सुनिए, आपने बढ़िया बात रखी है. लेकिन कांग्रेस आज के दिन समोसे को भूलकर अगर नोटबंदी पर ही बात कर लेती तो हम शायद नोटबंदी पर डिस्कशन करते ना. अब आप खुद देखिए कि कांग्रेस ने आपको भी ऐसी पोजीशन में फंसा दिया है कि आप बात करना चाहते हैं नोटबंदी पर, लेकिन आपको समोसे पर बात करनी पड़ रही है सर.
सवाल नहीं पूछेंगी कि नोटबंदी के बाद ये काला धन क्यों बढ़ रहा है? जिस बात को विश्वास दिलाया था, शपथ खाई थी प्रधानमंत्री ने कि अब काला धन खत्म हो गया. जो 2000 की नोट, 500 की नोट है, उस पर चिप लगा दी गई. आज वायरल है. आज लोग पूछ रहे हैं भाई वो चिप, वो काला धन कैसे बढ़ रहा है?
सिंह साहब सुनिए ना, ये अब आप टॉपिक से भटक रहे हैं सर. मैं नहीं कह रही, जो आप कह रहे हैं वो सवाल नहीं है. लेकिन मेरी सिर्फ एक ही बात है कि अगर कांग्रेस आज के दिन, आप लोग देश भर में प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंसेस करते, आप ये सारी बातें जो यहाँ टेलीविजन डिबेट्स में कह रहे हैं, आप देश भर में करते, आज इस पर डिबेट होती ना सर. लेकिन कांग्रेस ने देखिए ना, कुछ समोसों ने पूरी ऑपोजिशन का स्वाद बिगाड़ रखा है और आप लोग आवाज नहीं उठाते.
बीजेपी का तोतला प्रवक्ता है, उसने ये सब अनर्गल बातें प्रेस करके रखी है. आप सोचिए कि आप बीजेपी में कैसे कैसे लोग हैं, ऐसे तोतले लोग हैं.
अच्छा,
कि वो
मुझे लगता है आपको ना समोसे ज्यादा पसंद नहीं है सर. आप समोसे पे बात ही नहीं कर रहे हैं.
आप उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार में एक मंत्रियों का करोड़ों रुपए, सूचना विभाग का बजट उत्तर प्रदेश में भारत सरकार से ज्यादा.
अच्छा सुनिए ना सिंह साहब, आखिरी समोसा आपने कब खाया था? आखिरी समोसा कब खाया था सर, याद है?
एक बार उत्तर प्रदेश में भी मंत्रियों का, मुख्यमंत्री,
अच्छा ठीक है,
तो कार्यालय का जो,
चलिए मैं देख लिया सर. ठीक है, मतलब शर्म आती होगी सर. सिंह साहब, शर्म आती होगी ना कि बड़ी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज होकर कांग्रेस ने पूरा डिस्कशन एक समोसे और टॉयलेट टैक्स पर ला दिया है. But I quickly want to get in Priya before I get in Chetan to come in here. You know, Priya, because you do not wear a political hat, but you see this entire discourse, you know, for the very fact of its bizarreness, to the fact it's outlandish, but still it is not a fake news, Priya. How do you read this?
Well, we all have to laugh because it just is so bizarre and so petty and so small. But it reflects two or three things, which, you know, I feel sad about, but I mean, it must be said. We have, I think, whether it's all of us, but particularly the politicians, there's such a level of entitlement. There's such a sense of misguided power that, you know, small things like this can also be highlighted, saying, how could this even happen to me? You know, it could be a pin, or it could be a samosa, it could be anything else. And that, as you rightly said, takes away from the enormity and the impact of true issues on the ground. But while that is the case, this also is reflective of, you know, I think a class of people who are very self-absorbed, and by these kind of actions, I'm reasonably sure that, you know, this has been overhyped. I'm sure this was not meant to go to this level. There was a question asked, and, you know, some misguided person, you know, got very, very excited and said, I will investigate, or whatever. You know, it may be just one of those things that spiraled. But it does not take away from the fact that the true focus on the public at large, our voting population, our state citizenry, is really not there. You know, that these kind of absurd, bizarre, unusual, laughable kind of situations may give us a chuckle. But as citizens, it reminds us that this is what happens. I'll give you a small example from Bangalore, completely unrelated. But I will tell you, look, I live on the way to the airport. And I keep, you know, we keep, you know, wrangling with traffic policemen regularly, saying, this is not happening, that is not happening. What I realize is, because our governor chooses to go twice a week or thrice a week to Madhya Pradesh or wherever Delhi, everything has to be held, the traffic has to be held up for a mile this way or that way because he's going to the airport. And if he goes once or twice a week, you can imagine what happens to the rest of traffic in Bangalore. Now, this kind of VIP culture is very, very inappropriate because I do not see any reason why the CM or the governor cannot face the same traffic issues that we do. And if it does, then take a helicopter, because then at least you're not, discommoding anyone else. Not an appropriate example, but this samosa thing is more on, I think, if you want me to sort of summarize that, it's a lack of gravitas.
I think you're right. Yes.
Yeah. It's a gravitas.
Absolutely. I think, Priya, that's hitting the nail on the head. And I think, Khalikur Rahmanji, that is exactly the point that a lot of our viewers today have also been making. If you just look at the social media, you know, people are having a good laugh. But then this does not portray the Congress party, you know, where you have Rahul Gandhi as the LOP today, and you have a party discussing samosas. And what if the samosas go missing? Why should that be a big deal? But Chetan, do these missing samosas have any BJP connection? You know, because I wouldn't be surprised if someone says that this is political vendetta, conspiracy. At the end of the investigation, they will be like, oh, this is a Bhajpa ka hand here.
See, it's quite bizarre, and I'm actually ashamed that we are discussing this today. We should be talking about serious discourse here. We should be talking why Himachal is facing such hardship, why people are not getting salaries, why people are not getting their pensions. But we are discussing samosas. And to put things into perspective, it actually happened. There was a leak, there was a report, which is all over the WhatsApp. I can share with you after this interview. I can share it with you. There were 5 policemen who were given notices that why these samosas were taken by the staff of CM. And please understand, 2 years of this government, historically, if you see, I can prove it with a lot of data and on facts that CM is very popular in taking U-turns. Now, obviously, we'll say that nothing has happened, but actually this has happened. But the real issue is something else. They want to just, shy away from the real issues. Women are not getting 1,500 rupees, which they had promised. 300 units of electricity, which they had promised, are not being given. The apple growers are not being given the fair price which they had demanded. and they had given 10 other guarantees. So they are just, shying away. The Congress is shying away. And secondly, about 2 days back, their whole unit was from the central leadership. It was dismantled. Now there is no organization. So it is an internal fight. It's absolutely chaos in Himachal Congress. And trust me on this, BJP has nothing to do with this samosas.
Okay.
And actually, we as Himachalis are ashamed today that we are discussing this. Real issues are something else. How do we grow the GDP? Today, this state is under a lot of debt. We are touching almost 75,000 crore in last 2 years. Nothing as ground has happened. 2 years, no vikas has happened. So today, we should be discussing this, but we are discussing
But you know,
samosa.
Chetan, at points, stories that look bizarre, stories that look absurd, are stories that have a lot of layers. And I think what Priya said is the real story here. Congress, gravitas, samosa, toilet tax. Missing Rahul Gandhi, the leader of the opposition. Let's just think about this. We'll let our viewers decide where they stand on the entire story. Does that have a BJP connection or not? Chetan, we'll find at the end of this, proper investigation. Khaliko Rahman ji, samosa zarur khaiega debate ke baad. Singh saab, aap bhi khaiega. For the moment, I'm thanking Priya and all gentlemen for joining us. We head into a very quick break.